What's up everybody and welcome to another edition of AGR's Pop Culture Reviews. So a couple of you have been emailing me asking me when I'm going to go back to the 1/6 scale figure reviews and the statue reviews, and rest assured guys, I'm getting to them. I actually have them in studio, and I actually did this video a few days ago, but I got a little backtrack and I couldn't upload. Anyways, I am going to get through all of them guys, I just don't want to rush my reviews, but they are coming. Now if you've been watching the reviews for a while, you'll notice that I always have a Tony Stark or an Iron Man sitting in the background while I do the statue reviews and whatever thing I'm reviewing for that week. Now, I really love Tony Stark. He's definitely one of my favorite Avengers. And most importantly, there would be no Tony Stark without Pepper Potts. And we have something very unusual in studio today. It's actually pretty cool. Something that I know that I've been waiting for a long time, but I forgot that I had it for a while. And I'm going to showcase it today because this is a very unique piece and it's a little more artsy than I normally do, which is pretty cool. Now, from what I understand, this was actually inspired by some concept art of Pepper Potts, though it doesn't share the same name exactly. This is very interesting and I like the way it came out. This is one of those things that you rarely see ever make production, but I'm certainly glad they did this. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Sideshow Collectibles Sideshow exclusive premium format statue of Pepper. Let's take a closer look. So here's the deal with this very unique piece. You take a little bit of anime, a sexy pinup doll, and throw in some advertising 1950s Americana, and this is the result. And it's pretty impressive. I fell in love with the statue almost immediately. And not just any kind of love, a space-age kind of love. And I have to say guys, the head sculpt on this is beautiful. Apart from the fact that it really reminds me of the 1950s sci-fi movies, just look at that. The color is brilliant. I love the sculpt. The eyes are probably one of the things that really stand out. Those kind of bluish purple eyes look fantastic. The makeup is great, and this thing is just gorgeous to look at. The most impressive things about the statue is definitely in the midsection, and it has a lot to do with the way they contoured or the way they sculpted the folds on this piece. It looks magnificent. I love that you can see underneath, you can definitely see the muscle structure, especially the abdominals. I like the little belly button. This is a very sexy statue. There's also something that I noticed that is pretty interesting too, is that although it is an illusion, you can see the differences in the fabric, which looks fantastic, and this is not even mixed media, so to speak. There are some pieces that you have to add to this statue, but it's not a pain in the ass like other premium formats that I've seen. It actually just hinges onto her hand, and this is that little kind of briefcase that Tony Stark uses for one of his suits. I can't remember which mark it is, but it is a real nice accessory. The textures here in the paint are also pretty interesting. The briefcase is kind of like a dull silver, and it really accents her gloves because they're done in a high gloss polish. It really highlights that fantastic red and that wet leather look. The lower section of this figure is equally impressive, and it really kind of highlights the color palette here, which is done really well, offset against her skin. The highlights of everything that you see here, just the complete package, is done so well. Textures look great with that red high polish. You also have those accented kind of like areas of silver which look really great, offset against that black. It just overall looks really fantastic, and they spared no expense with the details here. Stylistically also, this thing just looks really cool, and again reminds you of one of those 1950s sci-fi films. They really did a great job when it comes to her feet and her boots, and if you look at that, just take a look at the style there. You have basically a heel underneath a platform, which is an unusual design choice, but nevertheless, I think it really goes with the whole motif of this statue, and it looks great. It's also worth noting, just take a look at those creases where you see the boot actually meet the ankle. It's done really well, and I just love the attention to detail here. Now, I notice a trend here, and typically I don't like trends, especially on social media. But the trend here is that Sideshow Collectibles is getting a little bit more intricate with their bases, and that's a good thing, especially at this price point. This certainly isn't a cheap statue. Now, what I like about this is that this footprint is really well done relative to the piece, so you're not going to have to get a lot of counter space in order for you to display this. It looks really cool, and the illusion here is that she's kind of floating on this very futuristic looking platform, and again, goes really well with this statue. Now, there are very few statues that I can honestly say that you need a mirrored back in order for you to display them properly, but this is absolutely one of them. You can really see where the creativity, and especially creativity in the head sculpt, really went to. It's not just that one piece where her head looks like kind of like a phone. but you also have a ponytail coming through that head display, which looks really great. The head sculpt here, and in conjunction with the actual hair sculpt, looks absolutely brilliant, guys. So if you have a mirrored back and you can display it that way, I definitely recommend it. And also, I'm going to pay a little fan service. Obviously, this is a very sexy statue, so you have to see the backside, which looks absolutely beautiful, guys. And again, the form looks great, so if you have a way to display it where it can be reflected somehow, definitely do that, guys. This statue almost begs you to do it. Now, I already knew that this statue was going to be a very limited run, but I didn't think that they would have this information on the bottom of the actual base, which is the cool thing. I'm not in the habit of kind of flipping them over. I'm always afraid I'm going to mess them up. But we do have this numbered piece. It's absolutely awesome. It simply reads Pepper, and then it has the name of the actual sculptor or who it was inspired by. We also have the number and the logo from Sideshow Collectibles. This is 176 of 600 pieces, so this makes this statue incredibly rare, guys. Now, I believe that this is one of the accessories that you get when you get the exclusive version of the statue, and it is really cool. I actually think it's totally worth it. You get this really nice plate that has a beautiful art image of this Pepper or this version of the statue, and it has a base that's made out of actual metal. So this thing alone is worth it because it is nice to have this to display next to your piece. I think it's really nice that they did this as an exclusive, and I'm glad that I was sent the exclusive version. And rounding out the last bit of accessories are 2 additional extension wires. I suppose that you plug them into the helmet apparatus somehow, though I didn't want to try it because I didn't want to mess with the statue too much. But you do have these, and I guess they're just extensions that you can put to get a different look for the statue. Overall, it's pretty cool that you have them. Now, one thing I have to say about this statue is that it screams exclusivity, and the fact that it's limited to only 600 pieces is kind of proof of that. So if you want this statue, guys, you're going to have to get it now. Hopefully you can still get it on pre-order or still buy it from the Sideshow website, because they probably move pretty fast. Now, this statue might not be for everybody. It's more of a concept art, and it depends on your taste and what you want to display. I certainly think it's totally worth it, because it's probably one of the more unique statues I've ever seen. And because of that, I can definitely categorize this as a definite Holy Grail piece. If you want it now, guys, you're going to have to search for it because it will end up on the secondary market. And similar to Psylocke and Rogue, it's probably going to be going for astronomical prices soon. Now, before I go, I just want to thank the folks over at Sideshow Collectibles for sending this wonderful piece over for review. Alright everybody, so that's my official review on the Sideshow Collectibles Sideshow exclusive premium format statue of Pepper. As always, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next AGR's Pop Culture Reviews.